What's the best joke you know? I was in the office today and the cleaning lady asked if I wanted to smoke weed with her after work. I turned her down. I don't really like high maintenance women. Stalin is sitting at his desk busy with paperwork when his assistant bursts into the room and says, "Comrade Stalin, there is a clairvoyant here that wants to see you. He claims he can see the future. Send him to Gillick," says Stalin. If he could see the future he wouldn't have come here. A man sat down at a bar and told the bartender, "I bet you $300 that I can piss into the cup all the way over there on the other side of the bar and not miss a single drop." The bartender said, "There is no way you can do that." "Sure. I'll bet you $300. The man then begins to undo his pants and begins pissing. He starts pissing all over the bar, spraying on the bottles and the bartender, not making a single drop in the cup. The bartender starts smiling and laughing and says, "That's it. You owe me $300. The man then gets up and walks over to the pool table and starts laughing and shaking hands with the men standing there. He walks back to bar, sits down and starts laughing at the bartender and hands him the money. The bartender asks, "Why are you laughing? You just lost the bet." The man said, "I'm laughing because I bet those guys over there $1,000 that I could piss all over you and your bar and you would still be laughing when I was done." A man goes to a funeral. He asks the widow if he could say a word. He goes to the front and says plethora and sits back down. The widow leans over and whispers thanks. That means a lot. Undefined. Another man approaches. He had been a close companion of the deceased. He too asks the widow if he might speak and heads to the front. Bargain, he says. The widow pats his arm. That means a great deal. What did the sign on the door of the brothel say? Beat it. We are closed. One day 3 people were stuck on an island with cannibals. The cannibals said, "If you do what we say, we won't kill you." So the 3 people followed the orders the cannibals. So the cannibals said, "Go into the forest and pick 10 fruits of the first fruit you see." So the first person came back out of the forest with 10 apples. The cannibals said, "Put the apples up your ass," without making a facial expression. The person then made a facial expression after the second apple. So the cannibals killed him. The second person came back out of the forest with 10 cherries. The cannibals said, "Put the cherries up your ass," without making a facial expression. The person then started laughing on the 10th cherry, so they killed him. In heaven, the person with apples asked the person with cherries, "Why did you start laughing?" The person replied, "I saw the third person come out with pineapples." The divorce court judge says to Mickey, "Now let me get this straight, Mr. Mouse. You want a divorce from your wife Minnie because she's crazy?" And Mickey says, "No, I never said she was crazy. I said she was flipping goofy." A proctologist walks into a bank. He needs to sign a document. He tries to sign, but he pulls a thermometer out of his shirt pocket. "Oh speep, some asshole has my pen." I mixed up the words jacuzzi and yakuza and now I'm in hot water with the Japanese mafia. What's the difference between a slob on a bicycle and a well-dressed individual on a unicycle? Attire. A penguin is on a long deserved vacation from the zoo. He decides to take a road trip out west, where his car breaks down. Luckily, it's right in front of a mechanic in town. He drops the car off and tells the mechanic he's going to get some lunch. It's a really hot day, so after eating he stops by the ice cream shop for a little treat. Walking back to his car, the mechanic tells the penguin, "It looks like you blew a seal." The penguin laughs. "Oh, no," he said, as he wiped his mouth, "it's just ice cream." "Doc, you gotta help me. I can't stop singing What's New Pussycat." "Ah. That sounds like Tom Jones syndrome. Is it common?" "It's not unusual." A pair of hunters from Illinois are out in the woods. Whilst descending a hill, one of them suddenly cries out in pain and falls to the bottom, clutching his chest as he hit the ground. The other hunter rushes to his side as his friend noticeably stops breathing. Pulling out his phone, he quickly dials 911. After a few rings, the dispatcher picks up. 911, what is your emergency? Asks the dispatcher. The hunter replies, I'm out near Route 51. My friend has a heart attack. I think he is dead. What do I do? Asks the hunter. The dispatcher replies, it is okay, sir. Can you calm down and make sure that he is dead? The hunter replies, okay. The dispatcher hears some rustling over the phone, followed by the resounding boom of a 12 gauge. The hunter comes back on the line asking, okay, now what? Joke is courtesy of my stepfather and his old drinking buddy. The men of many laughs. An English job foreman is hiring, and an Irishman soon appears requesting a job. Laughing, the foreman responds, you? Hire you? I doubt you know the difference between a girder and a joist. After a moment of pondering, the Irishman responds, well, one fellow rode Faust, and the other wrote Ulysses. And my favorite, when it's okay to go off color. Mother Superior is sitting in the convent one night when she hears a knock at the door. She looks out the peephole, and, seeing no one, very cautiously opens the door. She's stunned to find two leprechauns standing meekly, hats in hand, on the steps of the nunnery. My sons. How can I help you this fine evening? Well, mother, have you any leprechaun nuns in this convent? I'm sorry, my son. We've no leprechaun nuns here. Well, mother, do you know of any leprechaun nuns anywhere? No, my son. I don't know of any in all Ireland. And if there's none here, then there can't be any leprechaun nuns in the whole church. At this, the first leprechaun whips around, jabbing his finger at his companion. I tell you been peeping a penguin. Why did the blind man fall into the well? He couldn't see that well. People are shocked when they find out what a terrible electrician I am. I walked into the pharmacy and asked for some deodorant. The bowl kind? Just 4 under the arms is fine. What do you call a dog with steel balls and no hind legs? Sparky. What do you call a dog with no legs? It doesn't matter, he won't come anyway. Undefined. I thought it was cigarette. Every night you take him out for a drag. I had a song stuck in my head the other day and kept singing it out loud. My wife finally broke down and screamed, will you please stop singing Wonderwall? I said maybe. I bought the worst thesaurus the other day. Not only was it terrible, it was also terrible. Undefined. Dad, the trashman's here. Tell him we don't need any. 2 nuns were sitting on a park bench when a naked man runs by. One of the nuns had a stroke. The other couldn't reach. 2 guys are walking down the street when they see a dog licking his balls. One guy says, I wish I could do that. The other replies, well, maybe just try petting him first. I went to the zoo and saw a baguette in a cage. I asked the zookeeper about it, and he told me it was bred in captivity. Not mine, but I think it belongs to my favorite ones. Doctor, will I be okay? I don't know. Mercury is in Uranus right now. I don't do astronomy, doc. Me neither. My thermometer just broke. This guy sees a sign. Talking dog 5. He walks up and asks the man, does this dog really talk? Owner, yep. Bull speep. Dog, it's true. I can talk. Man, holy speep. Dog, yeah. I started out in the circus as a sideshow until the CIA found me. They recruited me as a spy. No one suspects the dog in the room is listening to state secrets. After 2 tours, I retired here in the country to live out my days. Man. My god. Man. That is the most astounding thing I have ever heard. So, why the hell are you only selling him for 5? Owner. Because that dog is a liar. He didn't do any of that speep. A Buddhist walks up to a hot dog vendor and says, make me one with everything. Bonus for philosophy nerds. Descartes walks into a bar. The bartender says, hey, Descartes, I just got this new import beer in. Want to try it? Descartes says I think not. And he vanishes into thin air. What does a robot do during a one-night stand? He nuts and bolts. 3 men went to hell, and they stood before the devil. The devil asked the first man, what did you do for a living? The man answered, I was a lumberjack. The devil said, then we will chop your penis off. He turned to the second man, asking the same question he asked the first. I was a fireman, said the second man. Then we will burn your penis off, said the devil. He turned to the third man, asking the same question he asked the other two. The third man thought about it, and finally answered the devil. I was a lollipop salesman. Why does the Little Mermaid wear seashells? Because she's too big for seashells undefined. What did Cinderella say when she got to the ball? Makes gagging sound. I told this to my family when I was like 11. Went over well. What do you get if you insert human DNA into a goat? Kicked out of the petting zoo. A boss had 2 employees, Alice and Jack. He only needed one, but they were hired at the same time and were both equally good at their job. He couldn't decide which to get rid of. He was sitting at a bar thinking about the situation. Alice walks in and sits beside him and asks, you seem down. What's wrong? The boss said, I need to either lay you or jack off. Alice says, well, please jack off. I'm tired. Did you hear about the cheese factory in France that exploded? Debris was everywhere. Why does the chicken coop only have 2 doors? Because if it had 4, it would be a chicken sedan. Waterboarding in Guantanamo Bay sounds like a great time, if you don't know what either of those things are. Did you hear about the man with 5 penises? His pants fit like a glove. Doctor, I swallowed a pen. Well, sit down and write your name. How many potatoes does it take to kill an Irishman? How do you spot a blind man in a nudist camp? It's not hard. 2 cows are standing in a field. One turns to the other and says, did you hear about the mad cow disease going around? The other cow responds, good thing I'm a helicopter. I have a joke I tell kids. I start with the interrupting cow knock knock joke. Knock knock. Who's there? Interrupting sloth slowly. Interrupting sloth who? Wait a few seconds at. What's the difference between a dirty bus stop and a lobster with breast implants? One is a crusty bus station and the other is a busty crustacean. What's red and bad for your teeth? A brick. As a Finn, I have a special fondness for Russian/Soviet political jokes. A new arrival to Giz asked, what were you given 10 years for? For nothing. Don't lie to us here, comrade. Everybody knows for nothing is 3 years. A judge walks out of his chambers laughing his head off. A colleague approaches him and asks why he is laughing. I just heard the funniest joke in the world. Well, go ahead. Tell me. Says the other judge. I can't, I just gave someone 10 years for it.